I'm sitting here with this pattern on a calendar that today really holds no significance as the 23rd that I'm aware of. I haven't heard any announcements on the morning programming. I did hear this morning, though, about gerrymandering. It's not sitting easy with me. I hear the Japanese say to wind slow. If you're gonna win slow. You don't want to take more. You don't want to come off aggressive. You want to seem balanced. In martial arts, I thought that was very admirable of a trait. However, here we are, and I was watching Gerrymandering. Now, I don't, like my grandfather says, no pistole for me. There are men that have pistole. They will protect women as long as women don't want to punch on the nose themselves. So, it's better than a punch on the nose. Yeah, well. So now, if I'm looking at these gerrymandering maps in this computer quantum realm, I saw them change shape between dots, lines. I'm really heavily waiting in, like, this dubious work. I'm like, who collects? Like, where are the rules? Like, where are the boundaries? Like, where, when you're the one hurt in the field and they're doing dubious work around you and against you, and you're being punished for it biologically, through physique. So then I'm thinking, okay, so, like, if there was, like, an FBI guy who, like, I could have a conversation with, because I've seen them kind of, sort of, in a not really way. Like, you see them once, you see them enough, on one of these shows where they investigate these, like, people things that I'm deathly afraid of. And there's, they talk on forensic about blood spattering. Like, they put on, like, luminescent stuff on the wall and on the sheets, and they look for signs of whatever. And I'm like, well, that's really interesting, because if I look at the gerrymandering map, it looks like blood spatter for ballistics. And how did it ricochet? Or what was the initial? Because as time rolls on and dilates, the original procedures, protocols, and rules in this quantifiable state that not everybody should have access to. And how do we explain the unexplainable without explaining it? And not get jammed up in the process. So it looks like, to me, a genealogy, there was some kind of ballistics performed in, like, a blood spattering pattern that just, like, that'll handle one area of FBI does something for a living, because it just looks like somebody put a hole in someone and the pattern just went out. I think it was more calculated how they got the gerrymandering patterns. However, then there's this ricochet thing where, in some kind of arms utility unit of mechanics, I saw once that they put ice, a block of ice, and then they watched with slow moving cinematography, like, the bullet leave the chamber and go in, and then they looked at, like, the ricochet. I think that's the word. Is that the ricochet pattern? I thought that was really interesting. Like, in a no humans involved, just like a whatever, just for word patterns that have construct assigned to them that other people use. So this way there's a relatable factor in explaining what you see, which might be different than what they see. But if they see on a daily pattern, blood spattered everywhere, great. That's what the demographics look like with your democracy in New York, and I don't know where else in the year 2022. Like forensic analysis with some kind of crossover, whatever, and however that works. Because I don't know who commissioned this special redistricting of the interior of the United States. Like, because I see who was the independent that was commissioned, and they sure don't look like us at Hellenistic and on the Supreme Court building and elsewhere around the world. So it gets a little confusing how they put themselves directly in this commissioned mission and how they got statesmen within the country and the Fed system to go along with it. That would be more of like a Dad Joe question in President Joe Biden on his area of expertise. Again, from a state's point of view, in a city with no access to any humans that are intelligent in the sense of they have a different sense of intelligence, as do I, but in some areas of the world, you're not even allowed to call yourself intelligent unless you wear a uniform and go to a very special area per day. So it's all in whatever. At dubious and process. So I think at one point it's like, no, I think I'm going to elect myself to have an animal handler because I definitely don't trust the whatever's going on around me. And if at times I polymorph in story format, it's probably a good idea for self-perfection and self-defense to ask for a handler. One that perhaps was the original one who was supposed to be my 7 as his 8. And however that got disrupted, I don't know. It's just a thought. But this gerrymandering thing, definitely, the more I look at it, it looks like with those dots and then how it changes and then the lines go from thick to thin, trying to keep whatever scattered with whatever was coming in and moving districts and stuff again, and then changing rules and you can't say this and you can't say that, and it's like, yeah, well, where did my freedoms go? Because something's not right on like a big scale. And then hiding behind some kind of like a corp shield or shell that then becomes hard for discovery. But that's even more whatever. I mean, there's got to be limits on this. But then again, that's why like other people threaten shoes dropping. Just it's easier to just drop shoes than it is to like have to weed through all this particulate. I don't know. I don't know why they participated in this manner. Star 1978, Star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.